Welcome to Synchronicity. I had an intro recorded for this that I did yesterday before we saw the Ween show. What do you mean, what's the Ween show? Been talking about the Ween show for fucking a month. Went with my friend Sean, Cass, Joey, a whole bunch of fucking awesome people. And we saw them last night in New York City. And it was fucking amazing. Ween is God. God is Ween. God bless Ween. Holy shit. This episode, as I mentioned, Sean, Cass, and Joey. Right? Fun mystery guessing Joey. He's cool. Sean and Cass, he took a little napskis during this podcast, too. There was some weed being smoked, put him down a little bit. It's a wonderful episode. I'm not going to ramble on too much in this because we just had a wild night, and it's fucking amazing. But we're going to talk about some other stuff before we get to the episode. Let's figure out what that is. I don't know. I really don't know. It was a wild night. This episode, though, is about cosmic community. We find ourselves in these human forms as we're really not these things. There's many things you can do to prove that to yourself, but we do form this intricate web, this communal kind of threaded fucking tapestry of whatever we are. And when you find the people who resonate at the same frequency as you, it's a very special thing. And I am lucky enough to find so many of these people almost on a daily basis that I feel like it's sickening, I'm sure, to other people how easy it is for me to meet amazing people. But if you tune yourself to that vibe, it happens. So I don't remember what we talked about on this episode explicitly. There's a lot of stuff. We bounce back ideas related to love and music and community, and we're building some shit. Also, take this as a fucking shot. This is me calling my shot. Live events are happening. Synchronicity, Very Ape. We're going to merge into this singular entity and do some live events here in Brooklyn. And also, we're going to be doing some other cool shit. Me and Sean and Cass are starting a show. We mention it here. I think we're going to call it The Come Up. That's Sean's idea. It's like psychedelic morning show. We're just going to be streaming this stuff pretty often. We're pretty confident that we are professional hanger-outers and we can do this. So stay tuned for that. If you guys don't know who these people are, what the fuck is the matter with you? Go check out Very Ape Podcast. It's on MindPod Network. There's a ton of other podcasts there too. We've added a few in the past couple of weeks. Go check those out. Colin Francescetto has a new one. Jesse Zuckman. There's good shit up there. So check them out. Listen to those. But, man, so much love to my Ween fam. So much love to Sean and Cass, Joey, Seabass, Daniel, Maddie, everyone. It was a beautiful, beautiful time. The crowd was phenomenal. They played Tender Situation. I think, did we record a version of Tender Situation yesterday? I wonder if Cass can send that to me and we can put it out as like a Patreon exclusive. Yeah, we recorded a little impromptu jam. I got my Gretsch. I gave Sean and Cass my Gretsch guitar and got them a nice amp because they're learning how to play music. And all right, here's a little thing. This is the year to learn how to play music. Learn how to sing, learn how to play drums, do something. It's really going to help you out immensely. So I highly recommend you do that. It's going to be great. And how about I stop rambling on and we get to the episode? That sounds fun. Without further ado, here is Sean, Cass, and Joey, part of the cosmic community.
Can I hear you?
Check.
What channel are you on?
Check. 4. Check.
Say it again.
Check.
There you are. Check.
Molly.
Caxton. Okay, cool. We're rolling.
Cool.
But, we're on your podcast.
You're on my podcast. I'm in charge.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that in my head. I was like, I don't think I ever introduce guests because I don't ever do I do the intro and it's usually a conversation. I'll say like, hey, and I'll say thanks for calling. That's basically it. But let's do an introduction. We have mystery guest too.
Hello. What's up?
You're not allowed to talk yet. We haven't introduced you. It's a mystery guest. Sean and Cass from Very Ape Podcast.
Thanks for having us back on again.
Thanks for having us on your podcast, Noah.
Yeah, this is mine. I own it.
Yeah.
This is mine.
I can feel that.
Yeah.
Even though we're here in the Church of Chill, I can feel that this is yours now.
And who's the mystery guest? Introduce yourself. You're not known.
Hello. I'm Joey Lipstein, coming up from Florida, from down under.
Yeah.
And, came to chill with you fools.
What are we all gathered here to do tomorrow
Praise
night?
Ween.
This is the Green Point, Ween Point, weird, wild, freaky deaky weekend, you know. And
Name
it's
of the
been-
episode.
Yeah. It's
hot.
Love Camp. That's what this
love
weekend
camp.
is. It's
yeah.
Love Camp.
Enrolled, playing with the counselors,
Yeah, hanging out, counselors in training.
DMT, fireplaces,
We're all counselors in training.
Can you guys explain Love Camp to me? I got the breakdown, but I want everyone else to understand because
Love Camp's a vibe. We came up with it last night.
Yeah.
We were surfing the seas of consequence, horsing around a little bit, and listening to some music, recording at Church of Chill. We do these radio shows in between our podcast episodes. There's a music transmission, and we don't talk much on them, but during it we came up with the Love Camp vibe, and then we started decorating it, and we're still decorating it, and it feels like that's what this weekend is, because like Joey flew in for this concert. We have other homies coming from far and wide, and it's so weird because this is a vibe like that we all got on this summer, this fall, this winter.
Definitely.
What happened?
We went to Jamaica, and someone was listening to our music tastes, and they're like, but Ween, and they wanted to talk about Ween with me, and I was like, dude, I don't know that band. For some reason, I've kept them out of my life my whole life. And then next thing you know, he sent me a playlist, and I was like, oh shit. Playing that around people, everyone's like, what the fuck is this?
Who is this?
Who is this? Every song.
It's
they're like,
always
who is
Ween.
this?
It's always
Who
Ween.
is this? It's Ween. It's Ween. It's Ween. And so, we all got obsessed, and then they're still at it. They're playing. So.
That's wild. That was in Jamaica.
Yeah.
The portal gets unlocked down
Yeah,
there.
right.
Totally. Yeah, Grateful Dead was dominating the conversation for the past 5 years. So
For sure.
this is a cool little conversion.
Yeah, Ween spread like wildfire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a hard thing to describe because I was saying before, I knew about them, but I didn't I like the songs individually I would connect with like any other song, but like I guess I didn't, like I said, the breadth and depth of what they represent. How would you describe this? I just like in here because you guys are my link. You guys, I'm saying it's Tried and True was the song that flipped me.
What would you say, Cass?
Yeah.
What's the question?
Well, I think what happened for us is, we heard this band and we were like, we really last year wanted to go to our first music festival, and we saw Ween and Devo was headlining the Desert Days Music Festival. So we're like, let's go out there. We'll camp for the first time. We'll stay overnight at a festival, and we'll get to see Ween and Devo. And right before Devo, we dropped acid, and it was hitting hard. And I was like almost having a tough time because Devo really cuts deep. They're super subversive and have some. They're incredibly funny and like more relevant now than ever.
And Mark Mothersbaugh just as like a person.
Yeah.
And like creative person.
Oh
is
my
insane,
God,
too.
such a hero, and I've loved them my whole life. But Ween was a recent thing, and so they came on right after Devo, and right before Ween came on, we were talking about doing a candy flip, which is taking Molly in addition to the acid. But I was hoping Cass forgot about it because the acid was hitting me so hard, and like being around all these people.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Should we do it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we just popped it down. It was not ceremonial or anything. We just like popped it down because I was like, "Okay, I can't think too much about this. It just needs to be in me." And it hit as soon as Ween came on, and it was like 2 hours of just epiphanies, looking at these guys, like, because if you listen to the records and everything, you're like, wow, this is really weird music. This is drug music. This is for like freaks or whatever. But like looking at these guys who took this idea that they came up with in 8th grade when they were 14 years old, and they had a vision for it, and now they're fucking 49, 50 years old. And it's spread, and it keeps spreading, and the vibe is so good, and it's so contagious, and being out amongst their fans, like it was really it was super infectious for us, and very inspiring. We came out of that super inspired and like ready to take on new ventures, and that's
interesting.
lean into our weirdness even more. because it's like we're looking at these guys that did it, and I'm like Devo and then Ween.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, wow, these guys have been doing these projects for 30 40 years, like they really just gone with their weird vibe, and it's just so incredibly inspiring. And we're weirdos, and we're pretty unabashed about it, but like, what about leaning into it even more?
Yeah.
Well, look what comes out of it too.
Yeah.
And just to be fair, and I'm sure they would admit this too, the road for Ween hasn't been one straight shot up. We were just commenting, Joe, you in particular, when we were watching the Tender Situation acoustic cover. This is just like
Honestly.
a Ween fan fest, and that's what it's
Literally.
But like literally, like they have songs that if they took different choices or went in different routes, like would have been incredibly popular.
Yeah.
But what's beautiful now is I think people are catching this vibe because it's an authentic thing, and when you look back at like the Chicago thing and you see the fucking energy and the passion that they still have fucking 30 years, 20 years, it's fucking crazy. Yeah.
Well, it's like the Grateful Dead. It's like everyone knows why they're there. They're there for Liftoff. And I don't think every band plays with Liftoff.
That was the best. I love it. Hey. Joint throw.
Oh,
I tried
my
to throw the
God.
joint, and he didn't see me.
I've never seen anything like that.
Wow. Hit me in the arm.
Dead
Man down.
people for Liftoff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you go to music to get an experience, but sometimes you go to music to like really go to church, and to transcend time and space. And that's what they try to do intentionally, and they do it also by like every song's played different. They're not going to play the same song the same way twice.
And like I also have found there's this intangible quality of like they don't need to do that. They don't have to do the shit they do in these shows. Like I think you guys have gone to way more live shows. I can probably count on both my hands the number of live shows. I went to a lot of DJs and clubs and had amazing transcendent nights, but not a lot of live shows.
I feel you.
They'll play like 40 fucking songs in a 2-hour period. I don't think that's normal from set lists that you would see with either like incredible bands too. Like
Most bands, like even bands we love, we go there and we're like a half hour, 40 minutes is enough. That's enough. And bands like this, I'm like, they can't go on enough. Same thing when we go to see Grateful Dead. Like it's, you don't want it to end when it starts wrapping up.
I feel like there's a song for everybody. Like Ween is a song for everybody. Like,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, totally. You could probably like hang out with someone a little bit, catch their vibe, and be like, "Oh, I know how I would turn them on."
I have the
to
song
Ween.
for you.
Yeah.
that
Tender
is what I
Situation.
do.
Yeah.
That
Joppa
is specifically what I do to get people to succumb to the brown.
For me, it was "Mutilated Lips."
Oh my God.
That was the song that our cinematographer Drew Siracco
Once you start singing it.
played that for me. I was like, "Holy shit, I love this band."
Once you start singing that, you can't stop.
Yeah.
Once you know it, you're like, I have to sing that every time.
Yeah.
Well, and they're also genre defining. Like they have a country album.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Fuck Jam.
The other day we were listening to it, and like Cass and I, like she was like, "I don't think you would have liked this in the '90s, even if like it was in your face." And I was like, "No, I wasn't cool enough. I thought I was cool in the '90s, like, and I was pretty cool. I liked Radiohead and Nirvana, like when they were coming out. And
I wasn't cool.
like I was like way into. I'm luckily I was born in '81, so like when everything started getting really poppy towards the late '90s, I could see that for what it was. Like I never thought Eminem was cool. I was.
I like Eminem.
Yeah, me too.
But
Noah.
I think that
Me
shows
too.
our slight age difference.
Yeah,
I
totally.
wanted to get into this. I love Justin Bieber, and think his
Oh.
music is genuinely good.
New songs or old
Noah,
songs?
stop.
Both. Legitimately both.
I haven't heard the new
It's
new
good.
hits.
The new one that just came out.
Well, that's what happens when you have love pumping through your heart.
Yeah, you succumb to the pop, and
Yeah,
it's like,
that's
this
true.
is incredible. But the thing is, he's really talented too. Like he has been from a young age. I remember like 12 years ago when he was a kid and was like blowing up, and people were like, Justin Bieber. I was like, dude, there's videos of him playing like drums and like singing. He's genuinely talented. It's not just like this pop He's also like, he's got demons, and when he sings, shit is good. So he may be put into some, Ken doll packaging or some shit, but dude, I'm telling you, it's fucking good.
Have you seen?
I love it, Sean. It's like,
You
let
know,
me sit
Baby.
this one.
Baby is a classic.
Baby. So you like this preacher he rolls around with? Like how he's
No.
found God?
So now this is very interesting because that preacher was, I believe, the same guy I saw at Kanye's Sunday service. And you know how I feel about Kanye. I love Kanye too.
Yeah.
Now, what I saw at Sunday service was really interesting because Kanye, and I think a lot of people, this cuts to the root of this shit, like they externalize God. They externalize divinity. And they say, oh, it's someone else out there, which it is, of course, it's everything. But at the end of the day, if that's not like an infelt, like you are actually the generative as a part of that cause of it, there is this tendency to externalize it in people as well. So you can succumb. And there's no value judgment here from the preacher or Justin Bieber or anyone else who is enticed by someone who says, hey, I know what's going on. You have to listen to me because I have a direct plug and I know how to read this shit better than you. That's different than knowing internally that, yeah, you can fuck with your person who's cool, but there's an energy there. And I think pop stars, you have to understand this, man. When we're talking about our dreams coming true, which we are all literally seeing right now, all of us collectively. I mean, people listening and us, we're watching this happen. Imagine this happened to you 20 years ago, if you're Kanye West, or 15 years ago, if you're Justin Bieber and you're a fucking kid. You're like 12 or 13, and then all of a sudden, you are God. Yeah. Internally, you feel every dream and desire is manifesting in front of your face. You knew you were a pop star. You knew you were going to be king of the world. A lot of people will look outside of themselves to be like, yo, what the fuck is going on? And that's helpful till a point until they kind of recalibrate and go, oh, I think I've been running this thing the whole time. And like, you know, your level and ascension with this stuff is, I feel like in some ways, or it has been directly proportional to your vulnerability or susceptibility to like people saying like, yo, this is how it is. God is this guy and you have to do this. It's like, you know. So I forgive all that. I didn't know about it, but I know now that you say, I saw this dude. Kanye brought him out, but that Sunday service was like one of the best live performances I've ever seen in my entire life. It was incredible. It was transcendent.
So they're of the camp of externalizing God.
As are, I would say, 99.8% of people I've come across. And when I start to say that you are God and they really get a sense that I mean that, most people, you're either crazy or I'm not going to deal with that issue, which is valid.
We're in such a bubble. Everybody that we know, I think, knows their God.
Yeah. People know it until they forget, and people are constantly forgetting, and that's part of the fun. I mean, you know.
I get so caught up. You know, we went to this pastor's conference. A friend invited us, I was like literally crying at every song. They were like, everyone's just throwing their hands up towards the stage, and I was like, yes, because I feel like there's a way to simultaneously externalize and internalize the experience of oneness in God. So like you can praise outward but still like feel that inner warmth, and praising outside of yourself allows you to connect more deeply with your inner warmth.
And it's all the same thing, you know. Like they're thinking about it in a different way, but like when you were just like, cool, Jesus is the connection today. That's it. And Cass was crying from the first song.
That's what happens to me, and it's a felt thing.
Yeah.
And it's like when you know you're either totally losing your shit or that you can find that balance between external and internal is when you can truly appreciate a Justin Bieber song. That's the perfect balance. You're like, yo, I see it all and I can still love this. But I mean, there is something that's a felt component. That love, no matter where it's directed, is the only real thing. So whether someone's pushing it out because, you know, they haven't found the exact balance, it doesn't mean it's not there. That's why I find music and praise and all of that stuff to be... That's why it also works. Let's be clear, like Justin Bieber and all of these people who go to like a mega church preacher, their ability to believe what that person is saying allows that person to do and deliver miracles. They're a vessel. We're all vessels. I'm not doing anything. You're not doing anything. We're vessels. We're letting it come through us.
And people are getting high.
So high. So high. But if you're not constantly it's your job as a vessel to constantly kind of remind, not in like a hokey way, but like I'm a vessel. Like I can do this in a way that isn't just wrapped in my ego and I have to get the most and be the best and all that stuff. Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with that desire. That propels people to great heights, but yeah, the mega shit is definitely a game. But you know, it's their game. No judge.
I mean, it's ripe for consumption, you know, and for people's lives that are so busy and they're running around so much, and you know they want to get their dose of spirituality or source or community or whatever. Luckily, we don't we don't like have to spend our time, working a lot. So we can find, like, we just found a extremely pure vessel in West Virginia, this healing portal of a dude.
Yeah, who is that? Can you explain this a little further? Because I've heard illusions.
I think this might be our next movie.
Yeah, you mentioned this.
Yeah, we have this, and maybe people can help us imagine it. But we had this idea for a movie for the past like year and a half called Wild Magic, about going out and finding those healing vessels that are maybe floating right under the current, maybe we'd be blind to, but illuminating them and showing that there's magic going on all over the place and there's healing going on all over the place. And it can come in these really interesting packages. And so we were so we had this idea, but like it was just more of a concept. And then we were up at Cosm, and we were there with some homies, and we're standing in front of Alex Gray's painting, The Cosmic Christ. And this guy, as soon as we got in there, we're standing in front of this painting, and this guy next to us just turns to us and starts speaking in tongues, light language.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. Like, we just froze, and we just kind of did like prayer hands.
In front of Cosmic Christ at Cosm. Yeah. I know exactly where it is.
The second we got in there. Yeah, and if you don't know that painting, look it up and go see it. It's the most incredible piece of art I've ever seen. And this guy just started speaking light language, and like, it was, and he would go from speaking in tongues to like, yeah, so cool, I'm from West Virginia, I do this, that, and the other thing. And we were just blown away by his energy and his ability to go from that to joking around and making us laugh in a way that no one does. It's really kind of crazy.
Well, he's operating with a different awareness, like where knows that he's engaging with the different energies in the room, where he's doing what he can on his wavelength to match your vibration to bring you into the moment with him.
I love it. What's his name?
Gabriel.
Oh, my son's name.
Totally.
Yeah. Saint Gabriel. No,
Messenger of God, by the way. That's what the name is.
Yeah, and he's so the veil is very thin for him. So he's really incredible to be around. Like it pulsates off him. So like we're just playing. Like we drove down to West Virginia, and just hung out with them. We rented an Airbnb, as like this empty house, and just sat at this dining room table in this cavernous house.
Oh my God.
And did a little ketamine and just played Rummy 500 for days on end, and it was magical. It was almost like we were playing with tarot. The meaning that was coming off the cards, and the way they were coming out, and we were just playing with playing cards.
Same thing. No, those are those used to be the mystical.
I know. Okay. So we were learning that along the way, and just this crazy, incredibly miraculous weekend that we spent with this guy, and he would just kind of put his hand on you, and for the next half hour you'd be in a trance. And he is like, it's basically just a channel, and he's speaking to, for me, my sister who passed away, Erin. He was speaking through her and helping heal my other sister, Caitlin, who suffers from epilepsy. And it was just really, really, it was like tailor-made for me, and this guy barely knew me. So
that's the best.
He's not out there peddling anything. So to come across something so pure is so inspiring to us, and we want to see the world more like that. We want to see those gifts in everyone, because everyone possesses them, but they have so many walls up around their heart.
His life is good too?
I think his life is good, but I think he toes the line, because we were in his place, and you go into his place, and it's like, wow, this is like a mad magician lives here, some wild alchemist, and he's got these pot plants growing in one room, and he's got scrolling.
He's like me if left to my own devices.
Honestly, dude.
Yeah, totally.
And there's messages written all over. Like, you know how you would write something in a notebook? He's writing it all over the walls.
What?
So like, it's just like, wow.
I totally get it.
And some of it's dark. Because he
traverses waters where there's like highs and lows, and it's not all just
welcome to reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's what I appreciate so much, and I've become much more weary of people that are claiming to be healers in some way, and they're not doing any kind of shadow work or acknowledgement of that. Yeah, it's all love and light, and it's selfies and 9 paragraphs on Instagram, and it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
They're playing out their own little.
Yeah. Which is, route. I mean, it's cool, but when I don't know. For me, I get super inspired when it's more of just an organic thing that almost found me, and it wasn't something that I was seeking through Google searches and hashtag searches on Instagram, but something pure that when I allowed myself...
It's the perfect vessel for you.
Yeah, for us. It's very sweet and authentic, and like that's how Grateful Dead wormed its way into our life, and Ween wormed its way into our... Because we were hardened punkers. You know?
So let's talk about this vibe, because there's a vibe underlying all this stuff here that it seems like there's this allowance. Did you set intentions before meeting him, before Ween, before, like, where were you energetically setting your...
I think we've been very open, and I think we're open to putting ourselves in the way of magic, you know, and when we see someone or meet someone who's a portal, we're going to, like, you know... keep going, putting ourselves in that direction.
Yeah, I think we set the intention when, like, we woke up one morning and we were like, it's time to make another project, and we feel really inspired by all these the energy that we've been lucky enough to get to bask in with all of our friends in the community that you're very much a part of and that we're building together.
Yeah.
It's very sweet, and wanting to let people in on it. And for me, it's always a big thing when, like, a name comes to it, and I'm like, oh, that's wild magic. That's what it feels like. Something you can't, and you felt it. I've had some of the weirdest, wildest, most magical nights of my life sitting exactly where we are.
Tell me, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it's a layer of consciousness that you graduate to.
Right.
And you can surf along in those waters if you learn how. And the more free time we have, the more we can see that and feel that. So when a being like Gabriel comes along, we know, like, this one's particularly bright. This would play well for a film, which is all we're trying to do is crack someone's consciousness, expand their circle of compassion. That's all the films are. You know, they're not. We probably won't even say what his name is in the movie or where he is. It doesn't matter. It's trying to, the vibe we feel over here, the vibe we carry together it's just trying to pass that along. This guy's a really great example of it.
Oh man, I am.
Yeah.
Because I've heard you mention him, and you know how I pick up on stuff is I just hear. It's how I found Neville Goddard. It's how I found everything. You hear someone talk about someone so reverently, and it's not even the words they use. It's not even the tone necessarily. It's just like the energy behind what they're saying, and it's like, I was like, I'm glad you brought it up, because in West Virginia, I think we're gonna be very close to Virginia, near West Virginia, and then there's a guy Dowsing. Gonna get him on the show.
Dowsing.
He's like this 70-something-year-old guy. He's got like.
Are you gonna go down there?
Yeah, man.
Oh, have you done that before?
No.
We've done it a couple times.
I've gone through West Virginia inadvertently when we were driving from Boston. My friend overshot it, and we ended up in like rural West Virginia, and I had dreadlocks, and he was like Chilean, looked Spanish. I was like, bro, you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here right now. This is not break down right now. No, I have not been there in a long time. Go through Virginia, but
don't speed there.
No. I fucking everyone. I grew up right near Virginia.
Yeah.
In Maryland, so like, yeah, they'll bop you. They'll bop you real fast.
Have you ever gotten caught by authorities smoking pot?
Yeah, I got put in strip searched in Elkton, Maryland, upstate Maryland.
Oh. When they strip search you, is that everything?
What do you think it is?
Sounds like
You
everything.
got to bend over, friend.
Wow.
They don't put anything in your butt in case anyone's worrying, but they just want to make sure you're not holding anything in. It was for weed. I've gotten in severe trouble. This is how I know reality is not real. The 2 times where I was doing some shit where I knew it was sketchy, like I kind of knew. The first time I was smoking weed, to answer your question, and it's expunged, so this is all for story if anyone's looking it up. All expunged. But anyway, I was driving up with all of my shit to back to college, I think. Was this before? I don't know. Timeline gets a little fuzzy back then. But I know I was driving up, and I had dreadlocks, and was doing a very small amount of cocaine at the time. Would do it on like Fridays, but my friend had just given me a little straw, and I had this in a little tin, like in the car. My wonderful Honda Accord V6. I love that car. And I was very much into electronic music, and I had really good weed. I don't remember the type of weed. It was double bubble. It was fucking incredible. And I rolled a big fat joint of it and was listening to an Essential mix. I don't remember which one. And driving, going 83 in a 65 above this bridge, just like right before you go to Delaware, right before you go into Delaware. And whoop, whoop. I'm like, oh, fuck, cop. And I'm high as shit. I'm hotboxing my car. I was like 20-something. I was like really young, 21. Hotboxing my car. Cop comes up, pulls me over. I think I can play it off because I'm a fucking idiot. I have all of my shit in my car. I have dreadlocks. I'm white. I look like I'm ferrying fucking pounds of fucking weed. And I'm like, he's like, will you step out of the car? I'm like, no. He's like, step out of the fucking car. So I had to get out. And then at this point, it occurs to me that this may not be a routine traffic stop. They put me on the side. I'm literally handcuffed on the side of the road. It's like before night. It's like still like light out, but like I look like I did some wrong shit. You know, they call the other cop car comes and the fucking people go and they search the car. They find like, I don't know, 2 grams of weed and residue in a cocaine store. I didn't have any cocaine. Cocaine sucks. I've never enjoyed it. It's like horrible. And I'm sure the stuff I was getting back just outside of high school was even the worst of the worst. So anyway, so I got taken in this dude's cop car, and the station, the precinct, is like 2 miles up the road, okay, in Elkton, Maryland. And it's like, no shitting. I'm not shitting on Elkton, but like, yeah, back then it was like, and thank God to the judge. I don't know who you are. God bless your soul. Cool dude. Kept my dreadlocks. Everyone told me to shave my dreadlocks for court, and I'm like, no, I'm not. Natty dread. I was fucking crazy. Anyway, so I get pulled over, right? We're driving in this place. On the way there, he also puts me in the front seat. And I'm like, what is this? This is weird as shit. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. So it's nothing ominous. The car breaks down. His police vehicle literally breaks down, and he pulls over and he's like, I don't know what's going on. Like, the car's breaking down. I'm like, oh my God. And it's really breaking down. It's not like a show or anything. And I'm like, fuck. He's trying to start the car. It's a police car we're in. I'm like, what the fuck? Police car starts back up. He gets to this depot. I learned there's like a police depot on 95 where they have these spare police cars. He said, I don't know, this is what I'm supposed to do. Anyway, go and get into another police car. They take me to the precinct, and then it dawns on me what is actually happening. First time in my life I've been put in, not the only time, first time in my life I've been put in a cell. If you've never been put in a cell, is a very special feeling. Your reality is then confined to this little thing, and you don't really know what's happening until it's happened to you the first time. You're like, oh, am I going to jail forever? Like, do I get out of here? You just don't know, because it's like anyway. So they come in, and then that's when they're like, yo, we're going to do a strip search. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. So they make you pull down your pants, bend over. Because at this point, they impounded my car. Like, they were probably convinced I was hustling and maybe just got like a drop off. So they're like looking into me. Yeah. My mom had to drive 2 hours to pick me up. Yeah, that was not a fun ride back. Yeah, dude, that shit was rough. So yes.
Thanks, Mom.
And so that's the judge hooked you up and let you go?
My mom was a lawyer, and she was like what's called a AAA certified in the bar. So basically, if you're a lawyer and you're like a high ranking attorney, you just say, hey judge, here's a letter from a lawyer, by the by, and they're kind of like, hey, my fuck up son got caught with a minor amount of weed. You know, if he shows contrition and isn't an asshole, like most of the people come in front of the court and they're like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's like, I was like, I'm sorry. I won't do it again with dreadlocks. I had to say all this with a straight face. I'm like, I won't smoke weed again.
I'm giving it up.
And then I found out afterwards, basically probation before judgment. So totally thing, no drug testing, no nothing. It was like nothing happened. But I learned the lesson. I also got sent to the tombs in fucking Manhattan. That was way worse. Ooh boy.
Well, I mean, that's terrifying.
It wasn't. It was shocking. You were in shock I was there for like 30 hours.
Why?
Did weed again. 2 grams of weed.
Damn.
They thought I was buying heroin because I looked like a junkie on a Sunday before football. I wanted to get high and watch some football.
Yeah.
This dude rolls through. This is just me telling fucking times I got arrested stories. Fuck. Yeah, no, but I did get in trouble. I went to the tombs. That's the whole fucking thing.
So do you know if, like, have you ever tried to go to Canada and get denied?
No. Like, this is not on my record. That second time I got what's known in New York as ACC or something. It's acquittal something. Basically, if you're white, I mean, let's be very clear about this, and haven't been in trouble before and come from an area and have a record of
being a quote-unquote upstanding citizen, and you get caught with minor amounts of weed. Even if you're not white, probably the same. If you get caught with 2 grams of weed, and if you're from the hood, you probably get bopped. But like if you're just chilling in the city, it's an inconvenience right now. But back then, 10 years ago, here, they could do whatever the fuck they wanted to do. You're basically not a person. And I got wrapped up with a black dude and an Asian dude, so I got the whole fucking treatment with them. And I was like, man, everyone I was locked up with was black. One dude shoplifting from North Carolina. That dude was shook. That dude was fucking terrified. It was just crackheads and fucking people were doing. It was fine. It was,
people that are struggling. That's all.
You know,
or I want to have a fucking good time.
many people, dude. A guy had fucking cocaine sewed into the inseam of his pants, his jeans, and so the bathrooms at the Tombs. This is where they take you. If you get arrested anywhere in Manhattan, you get sent downtown to this place called the Tombs. So you're in this with 25 other people just in this big ass cell, and all throughout the night people are coming in on crazy drugs, screaming. They put them in a separate cell. But anyway, people get down there pretty regularly if you get in trouble a lot. So this dude had sewn in some cocaine, and he I don't know how he cut it out, and just was doing cocaine in these bathrooms. It's not even, you can see him doing it.
Little emergency stash in there.
He's just prepared to be in jail that night.
Fucking awesome. That's legendary.
It's crazy.
We should do that with a couple hits of acid.
Oh, yeah, I mean, these days.
Dose the cops.
We do have some acid hit here and there.
You wouldn't, I mean, I guess in jail, it wouldn't be the worst, but it would not be my first
worst
inclination.
idea.
Yeah,
No,
okay, cool.
You wouldn't want to do it in jail.
I think it would be not the worst idea if you were sentenced to 25 years and you kind of had gotten your routine down and you're like, all right, tonight, I know I'm in jail. I've been in jail for the last 5 years. I'm probably going to be in the jail for the next 20.
So after 5 years is when you're breaking it out?
Probably less.
Okay,
Probably after 5 months.
5 months?
5
I'm going to
months.
5 days?
Well, but the thing is, a lot of people even end up in that situation because of a drug issue, and they'll use that first opportunity to be like, all right, I want to get cleaned up a little bit here.
Well, this LSD is not something you get clean up from. It's kind of the thing that you'd be like, all right, let me free my mind, even though my body's trapped.
Contained.
Well,
That's what Nick Sully did.
Yeah, the producers, the people who made Orange Sunshine, Nick Sands.
Nick Sands, sorry,
Sands.
and
yes,
Tim
the guy, the
Scully.
acid
Tim
maker.
Scully.
Tim
Yeah,
Scully,
when
sorry.
they were in prison, they would hold ceremony in there.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's how you do it.
Why not? Turn some people on.
That was their function. That's probably why they went to jail.
Yeah.
And they probably saw that pretty clearly.
Yeah. Wow.
Didn't he get in trouble though at the end? Again, they gotten him in trouble.
Doing that?
No, Nick Sand, they got him after
they always
went
get
to
someone
jail.
for half a roach that wasn't even theirs,
Yeah.
No, it's harder to do that now though.
Oh, to take down somebody for Tim Leary style. You had a
specifically,
joint.
I was thinking of Tim Leary style.
Yeah.
Yes. Just make him be a fugitive to Mexico. It's what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How come no one's made a movie about that? Tim Leary's life as a movie, especially that point in his life where he was put through the ringer in our criminal justice system.
You don't want to fuck that up.
He escaped from prison with the help of the Black Panthers.
I wonder if anyone owns the rights. There's a biopic in the making.
Yeah, maybe.
I didn't know that.
Someone does. Yeah. All right. So I like this vibe. I want to get back to it because I think it's really important.
Yeah, man.
This love camp vibe, this something that tethers people together, these disparate seeming kind of endeavors. This dude in West Virginia, Ween, here, Portals, all this stuff. What do you got? You guys hang out with enough people and ride this wave.
It's all we do.
I know.
You've seen it.
I'm well aware.
Joey keeps track of the people that have come through here because
Honestly.
I can't even remember.
So many people, so many different scenarios.
You can't even imagine. I know,
to
it's the best.
monologues to
Lou has been here, right?
Yeah.
People know Lou now. He's been on the show, so
He's a homie.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
What do you think it is, Cass? It's an answer to our prayers in a certain sense, if you want to go back a ways.
It's warm in here. And try to keep it cozy, and I think when people come in here, they make it even more cozy. So it's they feel their own coziness reflected back at them.
I think that like for us too is like realizing you do all this very personal work with psychedelics and spirituality, and it's all very, very personal. And once you develop those muscles, you realize like, oh, there's another part to this, you know, and that's community. And that seemed to be the piece of the puzzle that was kind of missing a little bit. It's like real true community where you're being vulnerable together.
Yeah.
And it's not just like it's not just what we're doing this weekend.
No, not having a good time.
No, I mean, we do. I think we always have a good time, but I think like we were here for each other when you were recently having a tough time, and like it's more about that. And
totally.
I think that it's this this kind of this idea that we got, like it's not just holding people to their best selves, but like being there for when they're their worst. And that's when when even the sense of community and what it's for even kicks in, is when you see waves of friends going through struggles or going through dark nights of the soul or depression or anxiety or whatever it is, that the shit that gets to us all, and not just falling off, not just disappearing and isolating, but still huddling around and holding space for each other. And that was like, it felt like serious business at first. And it was, because we were just laying the foundation. And now that we've kind of built up the church vibe a little bit.
It exists. You welcome people in.
Yeah, and it's more fun. It doesn't have to be that like digging in the trenches, laying the foundation, like hard work with your shirts off. It's like, no, we're in the church now. So welcome, come in. And even when it is the heaviest days and the roughest hours, there is still laughter, and there is a sense that this is temporary. So it seems like that's what we've devoted our life to, really beyond any one particular art project, but that being it, where we become the sacrament, we become the drugs, because we all are drugs. It's like, let's become really good ones. Yeah. Let's become the candy flip as a human being.
That's so...
You know?
Yeah, man.
Not be fucking go around being salvia for everybody. You know, and bringing in the dark fucking psychedelic circus PCP. Of madness. Yeah, exactly.
Don't be PCP.
Yeah, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that vibe, you know, like when someone, that feeling of people are carrying tension, like you want to be the drug that dissolves that.
Yeah.
And helps ease the tension. So building a community around those ideals and just holding space for each other and treating concerts like it's church and like we're all getting attuned to a similar thing. It's been, I mean, it's been the best art project we've ever done.
Exactly. This is what I'm realizing, and I think we all have actually collectively realized this. It really is an art project, our lives, in more ways than one, not just in some like esoteric, highfalutin bullshitty way, but like it is. I wake up every day and I'm like, what fucking canvas is this today?
Yeah.
This is going to be and it never disappoints me. That's what's crazy. I was accustomed to most of my life, regardless of the intensity of the experiences, of kind of like, okay, shit's kind of normal. Now, there is what I'd refer to as like an integration plateau at times, where like shit doesn't constantly stay at a fevered pitch of like, holy shit, reality's bending. But every day is so fucking incredible. Like, even when they're gnarly ass days, like you get gnarly days. You get the shit where it's like, well, almost wiped out, but I caught my balance there right before. But yeah, it's
you get into what I think of as the collaborator mindset, like where, you know, if you're doing drugs, you're not consuming them, you're collaborating with them. When you're hanging out with your friends, you're not consuming their time, you're collaborating with them. You're not like becoming a consumer of food. You're collaborating with these foods to get your body this nutrients. And, you know, you start to see everything like that. And that's where the magic starts to come, because we can't go at it alone. You know, we're very powerful. We are God and everything. But when we get together, it's crazy.
That's the magic, though. That's the whole thing. Like when you realize you're God, it doesn't negate other people in this reality. It amplifies it as true reflections of your absolute nature, which is everyone. And it's not like me, I'm no one's Noah. That's like, that's crazy. Yeah. But really recognizing, you're like, oh my God, there's infinite unique variations of this one expression. And if you allow that person to be that person, like that's what this is, right? I mean, how you release tension. Tension also can be this springboard, right? That people get so tense, it's like a frog's legs that they like propel themselves forward when they release it, which is nice.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's a beautiful contrast. It's like, because I think so much of, especially in the capitalist mindset and the society we live in, you're so, especially when we talk about growth, we're so defined by, this is the thing I used to consume and I don't do that anymore, and now I consume this, whether it's practices or whatever. It's so kind of like lives in that dichotomy. So it's it's very interesting when you can find yourself, like, I think we recently finding ourselves at like what very distinctly feels like the end of a chapter, and like using that and acknowledging it and using it as like the springboard for whatever this next thing is, and being open to whatever that thing is, like our reality painting through us, and not being so hung up on what that is. You feel that?
Yeah, I try not to over gamify life, but it always feels, and the reason Sean and I think work so well together is because we realize that we can have our hand at cards change, you know? Our hand's always changing. You're just doing the best with the hand that you have in whatever moment.
Gotta know when to hold them.
Yeah, gotta know exactly.
Yeah.
I want to walk away.
Totally.
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 Okay.
And the lessons are there, like that's all part of the awakening for us. Like even my sister having seizures, every time she has a seizure, like we could be having the best vibe like this ever, and then just imagine a person like falling and hitting their head right now. It's like DMT, like ears ringing, crazy insanity, stress chemicals get released. And when you can start to use even those moments as vehicles for awakening and not falling into victimhood mindset, it's really good cross training for every other aspect of your life.
It?
Oh yeah. So
not for everyone.
No, but it is, because like how could we really be a victim of anything? How, like, really from the perspective I'm seeing it, if we're God and we're creating our experience, like we created this, we put this situation here to help us wake up
to your advantage,
right? Yeah,
it's you have to transcend sometimes some pesky aspects of duality, like suffering and good and bad sometimes, to fully grok that and be okay with it, and not know you're not like a nihilistic or, you know, amoral person or whatever that means. But like, that is accurate. Everything is to our advantage. Also, my take on like problems and shit right now in our lives or just in the world is they are quite literally there not to fuck our shit up, but for us to see that we can transcend them as individuals and collectively. And that's a very powerful lesson. If this thing that's been dominating your life, whether it's fear, anxiety, worry, seizures, anything, and then something, whatever it is, allows you to in any way, just even if it's a reaction, like you're pointing out, a response, that teaches you more about, you learn more in those moments than these. I love the flow stuff and it's ever present in my world, but man, when you find a situation that you know you used to react like really poorly to, and you catch yourself not reacting to it, like you've really transcended it.
You never feel so powerful.
You never feel so powerful. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah. The incredible part about it is it's like so contagious, and I think you're case in point for us. Like, we love hanging out with you because we see you, because of your vulnerability, navigating. I mean, I feel like we were vulnerable with you about our situations and stuff like that. But when you can share your vulnerability and share how you're navigating it and where you're at, like, and also putting, accepting spin on things, but also an optimistic spin, or whatever it is, that's contagious, because you're like, oh, that's a possibility. That pathway is there for me. Why would I ever take the other pathway? Like this, there's pathways that are always there for you. And that's what is beautiful about, I think, the community we're talking about, and this time that we're in, which is like a second coming of the church. And I think we're just tapping into this, is that people all over the country, world, are saying, like, basically, like, when I talk to my friends now who like are in a moment of needing help, I'm like, I could say the thing, but like, if you have an Instagram account, you know the thing, you've read the thing. It is just being about practicing the thing and accepting the thing, because everyone's sharing the same message. You know, if you're on the tip of love and acceptance, and
same
you know
words,
what I mean, it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
But I think we're in need of this like spiritual awakening collectively.
Well, we're craving now, like we've gone through the great humbling and we're into the great healing, and we want to get into the great harmonizing, but that takes congregation. Mm-hmm. You have to
harmonize. You need multiples.
Yeah, and believe it or not, you can't just do that digitally. You know, it's fun to listen to this podcast. It's fun to fucking get on the Skype with your friends or FaceTime or whatever. But like, you need that eye to eye. You need to feel it. You need to be around people that are different than you. And we want to harmonize. We want to figure out how to do that.
It's happening.
It's why like politically everything feels like such at a boiling point, is because we're all safe. We're all safe behind things. But like, if we were all in a room together, I think we would really vibe on the same level, and I've felt that like there's a lot more we have a lot more in common, I think, than we're being led to believe.
Absolutely.
Through the view of social media.
And no one even needs to be saying the same words or talking the same way. You can go into any grocery store and like get on the level with someone, and that's kind of the magic of life, is that like there's nothing that's keeping you from just like opening, grounding yourself to that moment where magic is possible.
It's always, because I tweeted today that everything is magic and everything is magical just because it is. Oh, and when you really open up to that, you get shown the most amazing things. And this is like, just to be clear, like, you don't need drugs for this. You can, far be it from me to say that it's not a fun and amazing.
Can't speak to it. I'm always on them. Yeah. I mean, life is drugs.
Life is drugs, but you know, there are times where we have found ourselves just completely nothing. Just from exercise. Let's say you were going for a run or some shit, and you know, you didn't smoke before or something. Man, that is fucking a powerful state of consciousness that can be tapped into at any point. Like I forgot what we were talking about right before that. Before I said you don't need drugs, it's like, you don't though.
Life is magic.
Life is magic. When you tap into that at any moment and really allow yourself to feel it, like you get, like you were saying, Sean, like you get these ever-present reminders that you're creating this for yourself. Not in some like, I'm laying this out because I'm in charge and I have to be in charge of everything, but you just see the people start to function as mirrors, your situations start to function as mirrors. Yeah, it's the best thing. It's kind of the best thing in life. Let's talk about music again too, because this seems to be a really big part of it. And I noticed a lot of the people who I come across who come through here and you have been meeting, even if it's not their primary thing, are very connected to sound and music. Like very, if not going to a show, creating. What's up with that?
Well, it's what our whole world swirls around music. Like when we talk about magic, it's like we discovered it through chasing the music, right? Like, and going to shows and consuming shows for a while, and then starting to get into like, oh, I see what this is about. And the Grateful Dead helped us a lot with that. But I think that the people, since we're so in that frame of mind, that's the people we attract. So they come through here, and a lot of times it's motherfuckers who are like, oh, I played guitar when I was a kid, and they hadn't touched one in 5 years, and then they're like, whoa, James Fisher Smith.
What the fuck was that? She was crazy.
Oh my God. Oh, he's just makes such beautiful music. We've encouraged him to go more towards that. We should have him on our podcast.
He should come on mine.
Yeah.
Is he around this week?
Yeah, we should invite him to Ween, because he's fallen in love with it as well.
I got to connect with him.
Yeah, it's it's all homies like that. Josh Craig, you've met him a number of times. Fucking God, the list goes on. We could name so many. Daniel, yeah, he's...
The thing is, we need the music.
Yeah.
And we know that, and we know what the music does for us, and we know how it tunes us, and we know how it facilitates, a deeper connection and deeper reminders and all the things that we're looking for. And it kind of, even though sometimes there's words, there's a lot of it that goes beyond words.
Oh, it goes beyond everything.
So surrendering to it and allowing it to, like, take you through the passage of time on, the note of a guitar is like, that's... Ooh, you're swimming.
You are swimming.
It's the sacrament. It's the sacrament of the Church of Chill, Our little fucking joke of a church vibe that we keep going, but that's the sacrament. It's like when we worship the music.
That's one of my favorite things to put on, by the way. Like, I just listen to the Church of Chill episodes because you're getting, if you really get it, you're getting the music imbued. This is what I love about it. and I'm sure people would say the same thing. We know you're listening to it in real time.
Yeah.
We know we're hearing it the way you're hearing it. We know what weaves it together in terms of, it really is like church. It's like a church where there'd be someone, and stage or no stage, who gives a shit? You happen to be on a stage. It's your church. And the choir comes in and out and starts singing stuff. And it's fucking awesome.
Yeah. What I like about doing it is like we don't really even talk about what the songs are or anything.
Yeah.
It forces you to like let go of that, even the mentality you would have of looking at a playlist, like of maybe I could skip this one, or should I shuffle this, or you have no choice. It's like we're all going to experience this in the same order together and get on the same vibration, and and hopefully it's a higher vibration. And we have shadow episodes, and we have ones like we did last night with Joey. It's like Love Camp was last night, and just kind of like create a little vibe together. And we've just had so much fun doing them and listening to, really we hear these songs for the first time when we know we're presenting them to like hundreds and maybe thousands of people. You're hearing it different. You're hearing it in the headphones, and we're like, holy shit. And I think that's like, it's like blessing the holy water.
Yeah.
You know,
It's great.
Holy water is just water, but like someone like paid attention to it and like put their faith into that. And that's what we're doing with these songs, right, guys?
Yeah, I love drawing and painting to it.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
Yeah, we made some good art
Just
last
got to
night.
relax and listen to
Right?
music.
Yeah.
And you like cascade the art on top of the art, and then you keep doing it. It's pretty fucking cool.
And it's also simple. Like
Yeah.
like this is the church that you are having in your bathtub when you're like, I'm gonna lie in the bath and take a tub and listen to music. Like it's about setting time aside to be and to appreciate. You know,
Is take a tub a term?
take a tub. Yeah.
Take a tub.
It should be.
Now
That's what
it
we say in
is.
this household.
One of the things, like we did this Adult Swim live stream show a few times. Like we were just testing out if this could be like a live stream experience where people called in, and it was cool. It was just a way different vibe than more the radio show thing we did. But like just that whole that medium of like connecting with people and seeing, like, we're novices. We can't even speak on the level you do when you start getting like deep into being able to reference things. Like we're just feeling it. We're just kind of like feeling our way through it. But like to be able to kind of be ourselves and be authentic and play some music here and there and watch people be like, fuck yeah, man, I'm on the same vibe. And then that completes the circuit. Like it's more frustrating with film because we put it out there and there's no like feedback really. But like when you're putting that out and you're doing it live and you're feeling it with people, they're completing that circuit that you start as the artist, and you know, it takes them kind of reflecting something back on it, and then it gets super charged up. It's rad.
Yeah, I'm excited because, I mean, I know a lot of people hit me up specifically today about live events, and I know we're going to be doing them in Brooklyn. Probably the first one coming up soon will have something, but yeah,
Let's do it.
I think it's also just like this community thing. Whenever I've been part of an event like this, anything like you're doing with that intention of just like bringing people together, man, there's a visceral feeling of what it is, and that's a powerful thing. Because if, like you're saying, if people can feel that sense of connection in physical space, it reminds them that shit isn't as crazy. It's not coronavirus.
No.
Right.
Fucking corona. They got my mom freaked out. My mom's pretty fucking like operating on a good plane. She's doing things. She's like, what about this coronavirus? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know.
Once a day I collapse and I say, Sean's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm having a moment. I'm having a coronavirus moment.
Yeah,
I'm
she's
just like
thinking about
calming
it all
it
the
down.
time.
Yeah, because it's out there. I feel you. You know what it is? Your mind is like this receiver, and there's fucking coronavirus bouncing around. You're open. As you pointed out, you're open. You're gonna catch the fucking coronavirus.
No, you
It's
gotta
a
sit with it for a
symptom.
second.
It's just a symptom of our separation.
No, it's a last gasp. It's SARS 6.0.
But like, don't you feel like we're powerful enough as beings that like, okay, if we really, instead of getting all fucking freaked out and giving into fear and paranoia, as many people as we could possibly get together, surround that city where there's coronavirus, and all hold hands and just
Wuhan.
you know, don't you feel like if we all like just put like surrounded
Or
that
maybe
place
it's our
and just,
time to
like,
go. Maybe it's our time to go. Like, and that's what I'm just like, okay, be okay if this is your time to go. Like, that's what I'm doing.
I
I'm
see
like
what's
getting to
going
straight
on.
peace.
Yeah, Cass is cool with it.
Well, it's ultimately their kind of path, right? If you're gonna die of coronavirus, then that's what you've chosen on a deep level, right? I mean, I do believe that. It does kind of put in this question of choice, which has been presented to me a bunch in the past 2 months, which I'm pretty comfortable with. I think the only thing that's predetermined for real is that everyone wakes up to their true nature. And that doesn't mean you lose identity. You get to keep your identity. It's totally, you're good. You get to be Sean, you get to be Cass, you get to be Noah. But you really wake up to it. Like, and stabilize that shit to the point where you're like, oh my God, I see direct evidence of this through everything I do. That's the only thing that's destiny or predetermined. Everything else, including the how, the what, the why, the where, the when, all that stuff, completely optional from a individualized soul level. So that's it. That's it. I mean, anything is fair game, and I think people have to prove that to themselves over time before they really stabilize the way they feel most natural in. That's the beauty of this, and it's the same thing that we see in Ween and the Dead or anyone you admire. It's them being themselves, and they've pushed it to the fucking limit. What we're calling being weird or following the love or that, but they're just pushing who they are as an individual to the limit.
Fly the freak flag.
Yeah, and like you see the results of it, and like it inspires people to be like, yo, I think I'm like this too in my own unique, weird, kind of crazy way. And then they start pursuing it. And when that happens, eventually the person who's meant to like figure out really important shit that like I'm never going to figure out. I see this with people all the time, like people whose minds just work so differently than mine, but they're completely expressing their like personal gifts and genius. It's like, whoa, like if you just allow people to figure that out and not be worried about anything else, just being the best versions of themselves, that's how this world gets better objectively.
And when we spend more time in congregation, there's more natural accountability.
Yeah.
So you want to be better, you know. When you're hanging around a bunch of like-minded homies, when Cass and I see all you grabbing the guitar and being able to just do your thing, now we're learning. Like we want to be our best selves, and you get better at this thing, you start learning that thing, you get better at learning everything, and you start seeing the world in a whole different way, which is just fucking such a gift. It's such a gift.
And then you get comfortable, increasingly, in my experience, with the idea of desire being a legitimate and wonderful proponent for growth, spiritual ascension, if you want to call it. It's fucking highfalutin terms, because you stop judging desire as like some artifact of like the ego or some limited, restrictive thing. And you're like, oh, like, I trust myself to know genuinely what I want. And like when you do that, no, people don't end up as sociopaths. Like people can come to the same conclusion that they create reality and there's no real rule and all that. But if someone genuinely pursues who they are, they will find they're an unconditional, limitless being of love, and certainly deals with shadow and darkness material. If you fucking negate that, you're fucked, like you pointed out before. But if you keep doing that, you trust your desires and your fears to show you exactly where you're fucking supposed to be.
Well, it's a compass, because even if you're not there, it's like we all fall off, we all forget, we all have moments where we of doubt and fear, and it's like, as long as you know that's not where the compass is pointing, you know, you're like, I'm taking a detour into hell. Sorry.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and I think
Totally.
It's such medicine spending time with people who are going through
Crises.
And the serious doubt and the fact it's so, well, first of all, it's very flattering when somebody will share that level with you, because it's usually something we want to hide from each other. So
Every day, man.
Every
day.
So but to sit with that and to resist the temptation of trying to make everything better, but instead just kind of hold space for them to come back into grace is a really good practice.
You know,
it's a good thing.
I allow that process to take place maybe for like 5 minutes, and then I'm like, listen, now that we've done that whole thing, let's fix this shit and see if we can prove to ourselves that not that your life is going to smooth out all of the bumps and turbulence, but you are 100% in control of how you respond. And if you find yourself for some reason off balance, just don't react to that. That's all. It's okay.
But that's all on the intellectual plane, and somebody that's that spun out, they're never going to hear that. So like sometimes what we'll try to do, we won't go hardcore, but like maybe be like, hey, we're going to blow some rape up your nose, and like
you go right to the chase, cut right to the physical chase. You're like,
in a way, like just like not even physical, energetic. Like let's just energetically move that, because you're not going to be able to hold on whatever the thought loop is right now. You're not going to be able to hold on to it through this experience. It's going to be physically intense for the first minute, and then it's going to really just go to work on your whole nervous system and calming it. So especially if someone's never had it before and they're spinning out, you give that to them and they're like, holy shit. Like you said, the first time you did it, you were like, I didn't realize I needed that, like that kind of level. So that's one thing, but like for most people, if they don't have access to that kind of thing, it's like go for a run, get outside, do what you can to try to energetically move that, because I know Cass and I have spent so much time with chirping away, fucking yapping at people about, come on, let's do this. Like, come on, just change your way of thinking, explaining things. And some of that's getting through, but they're hearing us
like Snoopy.
Yeah, when that happens, I feel like they're not, they can't hear it because that voice inside is much louder.
What has happened with me, I could feel like there's this thing that we do where it's like, I intellectually know that you're right, but now I'm just going to judge myself for needing to hear it from you.
Oh, I see.
Right? You know what I mean? That can happen.
Well, I think there's also kind of, to get to both of that, like, it depends on whether sometimes the people come to you. Because there's like I learned this with readings. When people pay me for the readings, they have crossed some threshold of belief and acceptance. Not everyone's immediately at the same spot. Some people fight it until like the last 5 minutes of the thing. And I'm like, I wish you wouldn't have done that. But you know what I mean? But like a lot of people are about to tell you their deepest, darkest things. And that vulnerability is directly proportional to their kind of willingness to accept themselves. And that's a very precious space.
Yeah.
And you get there almost instantly if someone's coming to you through a podcast or through something you did to your art. And to honor that and remind people that they're in control and that they can prove this to themselves in that space, that's like that to me is the catalyst for a lot of these things. And it doesn't mean you don't feel feelings like sadness or lonely. It doesn't mean they're gone. Like that wouldn't be great. There's value in all of that too, but it does remind people that they don't have to stay in these cascading loops of mental suffering based on their responses to certain things. And that to me, if people are coming to you, that's more likely. Preaching it out,
no, you can't.
The worst thing to do, right?
Well, I think there's a reason churches have confessionals,
right?
And that there's atonement, and because people need to hear themselves say these things. And I think what's more magical than just giving our power over to the priest class and like we need that person and then they're going to give us our marching orders is just being more like that in life and seeing through the illusions and connecting with people for however long you've known them. And when you see that level in them, sharing that level within you, and then that level of accountability comes in amongst the group. It's like we all know, like, if we allow for the space for you to tell us that you're addicted to something, that's so special. We're not going to judge. We're going to hold space for you, and we're going to.
People are afraid of that, right? People are so afraid of being judged.
Yeah,
because they judge themselves.
Yeah,
and other people.
Yeah, and there might have been a time in my upbringing when I would have really distanced myself from somebody who is struggling, but like I probably know more people than ever right now that are addicted and struggling and are honest about it with us and maybe not a lot of other people. And sometimes it can get to me because I get empathic and I start like really pulling myself into that world of crisis with them. But just kind of being there for people and showing like there's no judgment, but there is home for you to come back to without preaching it. Just really holding space is something we want to get better at, I think. And something that I think we've realized in retrospect, it's like what we've been good at all along. That's why our films feel the way they do, maybe.
Yeah.
But doing that for the community, being each other's confessional and holding each other accountable is just such beautiful.
Well, that's what I like about the confessional thing. Yeah. The way you're talking about it is, I like that the anonymity is somewhat. It doesn't need to be broadcast to everyone. Not everyone has to be a weirdo like us.
Yeah.
But you know, there is something very. I think that's a role a lot of people are finding themselves in, and being like playful and cool and chill about it is really the best way I found to if you find yourself in that role for people, because it is like people are craving that balance and equanimity and peace and happiness, and it is sometimes tempting to get sucked in to that. It's a vortex sometimes,
Right.
but and it's okay to allow people to feel it too. It's not like. You have to constantly. This is something I had to learn a lot over the past couple of months intensely. You can't always transmute people's suffering into love or happiness right then. Sometimes you have to catch it, you feel it, and you let it go. That's on them, and not in a like selfishly. I'm not fucking helping you. It's just like that's particularly they set this out for them. That's a special power, recognizing this. What, you guys getting special powers the past few months or anything?
Yeah.
What's going on?
They're silly. Some cities.
Yeah, exactly.
They're silly ones.
Silly cities.
Being able to know what's going to come on next on the radio.
Isn't that weird?
Stuff like that. Just
are you making it happen, or?
Yeah, it's cool to be in on it, but like I don't want to abuse that power. I just want to kind of go through life and observe and document some things. But I'm feeling very much in my power. I feel in my power when I feel inspired, and I think we're feeling very inspired lately. Yeah, for sure. Like we know that there's seasons. We've been together for so long that we know that there's seasons, and that like there's times when you kind of hibernate a little bit, and there's times when it's like you really grow and blossom, and the bees are out, and everything.
It's an ebb and flow.
Yeah,
like
totally.
Everything in this world, kind of.
Yeah, totally. But I think we take it for granted because we're in this drone of like pay the bills, figure out whatever you have to do to pay the bills, pay the bills, and there isn't that acknowledgement of these cycles that are going on within you. So we medicate away, and instead of bear witness. So just trying to get better at that.
I'd say you're pretty good and better at it.
Yeah, instead of forcing it, because like I can always feel in someone's art or their fucking podcast or their music or whatever, if they felt the need to like get on the toilet before they even had to shit, you know that? And it's like,
whoa! Tell me you just came up with that. As a
just
metaphor.
now, yeah, like like that's like you ever listen to an album that just sounds like that? It's like, oh, your record label was breathing down your neck, weren't they? Oh, you felt the need to make another thing because a couple of years had gone by, or whatever.
That's a danger.
So yeah, just really getting the proper nutrition through life, and only sitting down on the toilet when it's time for it to slip out like butter. And it
like
does.
Butter.
It does, like butter. It does when you're feeding yourself the right way, with the right kind of community, with the right kind of love vibes, with the right music.
You can shit butter, is what we're saying.
It's yeah, totally.
I'm with it.
Golden butter nuggets. Beautiful.
That's not a hard
just
sell.
sliding. You don't even have to flush.
I think nuggets is where you
down.
lost everyone, or like maybe like a small snake.
Yeah, a large snake. Yeah.
What are you guys up to in the immediate future, which I know is a question that probably means less to us than most people, but you guys also have plans and structures that, yeah.
I feel like we kind of answered it before. I think we're following that rabbit hole down, but I also feel like we really want to maybe play around with some different mediums. We did some, like Sean mentioned, some live streaming, and was like, wow, there's a lot of potential. Like as documentary filmmakers, we're having people call in and entering different people's universes. It felt like we were in the midst of like a live documentary stream hangout that we were facilitating. So it feels like we want to maybe pursue that. And I think even we were talking about with you doing some sort of a collaborative
We very much
show.
spoke about it's happening.
Yeah, we want to make we want to try out making new entities because we've done it within our own podcast. Like we said, we have the Very Ape Podcast, but we have these Church of Chill episodes, and that's been fun. But now we're like, let's make a new show with someone like there are no guests. It's just us three.
Yeah.
I want to make like what like would be. I don't know if we'll be able to pull this off, but it would be hilarious if we could make like what feels like a psychedelic morning show, and I want to call it the Come Up. And I think it would be like it could be like we could be talking about current whatever because it would be very fleeting. And it wouldn't be meant to be revisited. Yeah, just like we're just like if you live down in the city, I feel like we could do this like 3-4 times a week. But
we can still do it 3-4 times a week.
well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think we could figure something out. But like where the three of us are just chatting a little bit, fucking rolling up J's, doing a little reading, fucking talking about whatever's going on.
Some call-ins. There's
Yeah.
some funny
This is
video
clearly
reviews.
happening,
Yeah, I think that would be fun. I think
I mean,
people
I
could
know
get
it
down
would.
with
I mean,
it.
the thing
It would
is,
just
like,
be a hangout.
what we do besides commercial work is we put stuff out that we want to see
Right.
existing, and so we love watching, the podcasts that are more like live streamy kind of shows or
Where they're
that the
just
video
talking
captured.
and being themselves.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we genuinely we're hanging out with them. It could be very simple. So let's create more spaces where we can hang out and push things a little further.
Listen, so I've been watching I've fallen into the YouTube vortex pretty hard for a variety of reasons, and I started watching Larry David interviews and acceptance speeches, and he's just like one of the funniest human beings in the universe, like ever to exist.
He's in the flow.
And you see what happens whenever he's on like a long form interview with a friend or even a short one. Like this space is created where you're like, yo, I could watch this for 10 hours.
Yeah.
And I want to be friends with it. Like, I just want to be like, and then I heard how they were really doing Curb. And I knew it was like improv, but they're like, yo, they basically have the lightest of prompts and it's all off the cuff. There's no
interesting.
rehearsal. And I was like, that's because I think the reason people love it so much is even if it feels like overly acted and dramatic and yelly at times, it's dynamic. It's in the fucking moment. They stitch it together. They edit it, of course, but still, it's like you're capturing real shit, not something that was like predetermined. And I think that's what people really love. Even if it's recorded and put out like a podcast, but definitely the live component, the interaction that can take place too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like just being like fucking up, like being in front of this new audience on Adult Swim out of nowhere. They don't know the fuck we are. They don't know our films. They don't know our podcast. They don't know anything. All of a sudden, there's just two fucking juggalos like us sitting there getting high. In front of a green screen and fucking doing rape and we did a whole show about death and played death songs and people were calling in about what they think death is and it was far out, but it was like, this isn't who this is for. Like, this is funny, this interplay, but it's not who it's for. Like, if we got our community vibe imbued on that type of show, that would be something I'd want to do forever.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing, and it's happening.
For sure.
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. I think it'll give us a reason to get together. I mean, we already hang out all the fucking time.
No, this is a
Does your audience know we're friends?
Yeah.
Or did we explain that?
I don't know. I mean, I think at this point it's pretty clear. I say it all the time on my podcast.
Yeah,
so
we
I'm pretty
always
sure,
reference you guys.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know for a fact. I'm also, you guys know, I'm real diligent on gauging people's interests when it comes to things. Like, I know people want this because the main thing I've learned over the past 8-9 months is that I'm not doing anything. We're talking about shit that people are already thinking about. We maybe have figured out how to eloquently say it at times, sometimes not, sometimes very much not. Authentically, and that gives people, like I was saying before, the confidence that yo, this shit is just totally possible. Like, these are my people, because that's who they are. When someone feels someone just hanging out and having a good time and they feel good, that's your people.
Yeah,
that's your people.
Fucking right on, man.
Find your people.
Well, it is. It's find your tribe, build your tribe time. It feels that way. It's palpable, especially if you pay attention to the political realm.
Our mystery guest fell asleep.
Yeah, he needed some rest.
We just got. I'll have a picture of this.
Yeah, he's tuckered out.
Yeah, there
he's a tuckered out juggalo. Did he take one of those day pills or whatever you have?
No, he's still he's on the edge of consciousness.
We're soothing him to sleep. He's going into the deep dream.
Let's do a double dose of these questions. Joey, if you can participate, you're involved. Favorite color?
Joey's colorblind.
Yeah, I am.
That's
but
okay.
blue.
You can still have it blue. There we go. Great color. It's my favorite color.
The same.
It's the same.
Oh, are we all blue guys? All right.
Yeah,
I mean, come
we
on.
got the blues.
All right.
But I would say second favorite, purple.
Red.
Green.
Fuck. I was gonna say green too. It's
Yeah.
kinda, so it's like blue.
Oh,
Yeah.
green is really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I like all the colors. I mean, everyone likes all the colors,
Yeah, of
obviously.
course.
But when you're really doing it. Okay. Favorite number?
7.
7.
Not 7.
Well, that's a good call because
It's
then it's
not
just
7.
yeah.
That's your favorite number. Is not.
She
7.
hates 7.
No, I like 8 or 35.
Oh, interesting.
35 is your favorite number. Please don't even fuck around. Are you
yeah.
trying to honor Kobe?
Oh, no.
Girl.
I mean, I do love Kobe. I
sorry.
honor him.
Yeah,
I honor
of
him.
course.
But
And
favorite
we're
number
honoring
35.
this whole episode is about.
Mine's 55, actually. Sorry. I forgot.
55.
Yeah, 55.
Okay. So 55. 7.
7, 35.
All right. I'm 13. Favorite animal?
When I was younger, probably cheetah. I'll say
Cheetah.
cheetah. Yeah.
I say a little gerbil.
No, come on, pick again.
What do you mean? Why do you say no?
She goes, no way.
Because Cass had a gerbil.
No, I had a no, I had a guinea pig.
Oh, okay.
They're
That's
actually,
a gerbil.
little known fact, they're all the same thing.
Oh,
No, they're not.
I was like,
pretty sure they're not.
I was like, whoa.
I don't think so.
A horse, maybe the stallion.
Horse,
Oh wait,
All right.
part 3.
cheetah, horse.
Sending love out to those koala bears.
Oh
Koala
yeah, you are such a koala
Yeah,
yourself.
you are a koala.
I love a koala.
I could see that.
I'm a dolphin.
Dolphin. I could see
Oh my
that.
god, that
Totally.
picture
That's
you
definitely-
showed us.
Oh, it's terrible.
I need to Photoshop
It's so horrible.
Noah's face on a dolphin.
Oh, totally.
Not this one I showed you guys. That's horrible. Oh god, so lifelike. Practical tip that's helped you in your life that you can share with people listening. Could be anything.
Just be kind.
That's a good one.
Go plant-based.
You first, Noah.
Me first. My practical tip. Empirically test that your imagination is God. Just do it. It's my practical tip.
Okay, this is the same as my last one, but the only thing I can think of is learn how to breathe.
Breathe, motherfucker.
Such-
Breathe, motherfucker.
Breathe.
Cass, your proportion to wisdom to word ratio is astronomical.
Yeah.
It really is.
That's a good way of putting it.
It really
And
is.
if you listen to our podcast,
It's always,
Yeah.
I know, dude.
it's like boom.
It's pretty crazy. Thank you all for
Thank
doing
you,
this.
dude. So
Thank you,
fun.
Noah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Love you, Noah.
Love you.
Peace and love.
Thanks for listening to that episode. If you liked it, go subscribe to Very Ape Podcast because they're fucking amazing. How many times do I need to say it? You can find links to all their shit. VeryApe.tv. They make documentaries. They're amazing. We saw a screening of 2 of their films, Joshua Tree and Sweet Nothing, which I had seen when they first came out, but hadn't seen them since then. And man, the Sweet Nothing always makes me cry. It's so beautiful. Their friend Ayla takes some acid, and it's just so beautifully done. Fuck, they're so cool. So that's it for this episode. I will see you with the solo cast soon. Probably not too long after this comes out. Might flip the schedule. Might flip the schedule a little bit in the coming days, but for the most part, we're pretty good. We'll get back to the regular scheduled programming, at least 1 podcast a week. I am putting more on Patreon, so go check that out. Please do not sign up for the $1 level if you're not an annual member. For fuck's sake, please don't make me have to keep emailing people. Just read the thing. Super easy. $13.13. That's the one. Buy Bitcoin. It's dipping. It's easy. Ether, whatever. It's all going up. Money's an illusion. You can think I'm reckless for saying that. Whatever. Just buy it. It's fucking